We got the guitars going here.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for waiting. TVZ time. Our only Zerg player, SHIN, coming back looking great at DreamHack. Let's see how he does against ByuN. I think ByuN's been in really good form, by the way. He looked really strong last season. We didn't have SHIN last season of GSL, so I'm
how
curious.
insane is that, by the way, that SHIN didn't qualify for GSL Code S last season, and then he goes to DreamHack, and he beats, like, he goes on a rampage and makes his way to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so, it feels really hectic right now. The same thing for Cure, you know, be the first player eliminated from Group A after almost winning GSL Season 1.
Yeah.
I think just things are moving at such a fast pace. There's so much traveling that's taking place right now. Things are chaotic. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a marathon, man. EWC is just around the corner.
It's a roller coaster. You just never know what to expect on any given day with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's getting their matches in, hungry to get to that insane prize pool in Riyadh.
Mm-hmm.
I think this should be, I guess I have to say this is going to be SHIN favored, right? Just looking at how well he performed.
I would think so. But again, like, you have a good performance like something at DreamHack, and you know that all these Terran players are analyzing the games that you just played, and some of them might have some new ideas that you haven't been tested against in the past with the builds that you've been developing, right? So it's hard to say. I always feel a little bit for the Zerg in a situation like this one where you're going up against 3 Terrans, because they're all going to be watching all of your matches. They're going to be very well prepared for you. And here for SHIN coming into this one, you can play reactive, but the onus is going to be on him a little bit to have some range here going up against potentially 3 different Terran opponents. So I'm really curious what he's going to bring to the table. And he's looking to be in really good spirits, by the way.
SHIN's just got a big grin on his face, man.
Yeah, they're joking about something.
All right, guys, we're going to hop into game number 1 here. SHIN versus ByuN coming up right now. Okay, SHIN in the bottom left, ByuN in the top right. TVZ, we were talking about how TVT feels like it's just become a little bit of a shorter, more explosive matchup. It does feel like for TVZ, we're no longer in the meta, in current patch state of the game, where it is the split map game that we saw Maro, maybe the best Terran in the world at that.
Yeah.
The kind of exhaust play, like, I'm just going to let the Zerg mine out their side of the map, but I'm going to have that one base that I take at the end. It might be a 35 or even 40-minute game.
Command center first, by the way, for ByuN. This is cool.
Yeah, I like that. I love the StarCraft's drawing here, too.
That's a really good drawing, too. It looks like original artwork, man. That is legit. How is it that every GSL, the audience just makes these, like, beautiful drawings? I am constantly impressed. I have no artistic skills.
I have no. Look at that. It's a little Pepe. Young and tasteless.
It's an adorable little frog.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the sign. Yeah, no, there's a lot of great cheerfuls in the audience. So good to have you guys down here. We had a couple seasons. I guess some of this was COVID, where we couldn't have an audience. Do you know how weird this place was when we were like casting in here to an empty?
It was just
it's like such a weird. I'm like, all right, I gotta go to an empty high school gymnasium and cast StarCraft for this big empty space. It's nice to see people coming down here and enjoying the games.
Yeah, it was a strange time to be alive. I remember also, like, I'm a big baseball fan. I remember watching, like, MLB games, and they're playing in these stadiums, and to make it less weird, some of the stadiums would just put, like, cardboard cutouts of fans, and that just made it even more, like, uncanny valley.
Yeah, that was a weird solution to, like,
oh yeah, it was
to what's going on. But yeah,
it was a unique time that we all lived through. I'm glad we're through it
once
now.
The stupid pandemic was done, I'm like, oh, thank God, things are kind of back to normal now.
But yeah,
okay, so
it is good to have everybody back in the studio.
Yeah, 100%. So this is Command Center first, and it will go unpunished. Command Center first was it like 2 years ago? That was like everybody was doing it.
Command Center first. Usually I think at the 3cc, and they would just make like 8 racks and just go kill them.
Yeah.
That was a fun meta.
There was also a period where it was Command Center first into like this 2-base timing, but it seems like that doesn't work as much anymore. It's interesting, by the way, the layers of greed that get built on top of a meta over time. Like, I remember, this is like a way back, pre-StarCraft 2. I remember playing StarCraft 1, and there was a super famous Russian player called Asmodee. And I remember, like, you know, back then they didn't even have replays, so if you could just even get inside somebody's game, it was a big deal, right? Just spec up. And I remember watching him go command center first, and I'm like, no, this can't be. You know what I mean? I'm like, that can't be the way that he's playing. He did it like 3 games in a row, and I'm like, this is insane. But yeah, I mean, if someone's going to play kind of a middle of the road, like, I'm not going to die to rushes, but I'm not going to attack you right away, and I'm going to eventually fast expand. And the other guy just makes a command center nakedly. And he's just, that guy's way ahead. That guy's just infinitely ahead. He cut all the corners, and as long as he doesn't die to the rush, he's going to have a lead.
Yeah, we're not going to have any ZVZs today, obviously, because Shin's the only guy here playing Zerg in Group B. But ZVZ, I talked to a lot of pro players, and they say that's one of the hardest things, too, is just to play like a standard macro game, because you don't know if someone's going to go for it all in. You don't know if they're going to be really greedy, like the Zerg version of like a command center first. It's always fun going into like the game theory a little bit of how these people decide they're going to construct their builds over the course of a series. By the way, Shin getting pretty aggressive early on right now. 7 roaches. We'll see if he continues to build more, or if this is just for him to try and deal with these Hellions. But if it's just for the Hellions, it feels like it might be a little bit overkill. Yeah, 11 roaches, so that's going to be a good amount. Unluckily for Shin, ByuN is also going into Banshees. And roaches don't shoot up.
You don't say. These roaches are going to be moving out now. As the Banshee's going around, Hellions still darting around the map.
They're going to catch the roaches, too.
Yep.
Oh, man, if the Banshees, we'll see if the first Banshee, I'm trying to find where it is on the mini-map. Second Banshee is in production, about a third of the way done. Yeah, he immediately tags it on the roaches. This is going to do a really good job of shutting down the aggression. But those roaches are also now out of position because Shin was hoping to be aggressive. These Hellions, they're going to send it into the natural expansion. One of them does get caught by a drone and a queen, but 4 more Hellions. How good's the drone micro going to be here for Shin? So far, 4 drones going down. 1 Hellion on a very low HP, not getting focus fire down. Shin just trying to pull the boys instead, running the drones away. So far, pretty good control from Shin, only losing 6 drones to all of those Hellions getting into the natural expansion. He's going to get some counter damage himself done. There is a Banshee here in the natural of ByuN, so there is going to be a timer on these roaches, but hey, a little bit of tit for tat, getting 3 SCVs, maybe even going to get a 4th one here in the wall in, disrupting the build of ByuN a little bit as he's trying to wall in. I would say well handled for Shin. It looked like him being out of position was going to lead to a much more catastrophic situation, but that was well controlled.
I thought there was going to be way more drones killed, like when I saw the Hellions coming in there. But yeah, he did a very good job. I think he could have lost even less if he hadn't had those like 4 that were shot on the ramp. The Banshees are now inbound here. There's spores set up. And it's going to be hard for either player to really do any kind of full-on attack to each other. There is a 3rd command center started here, so Terran's not interested in ending this anytime soon. He wants to basically build this out to a much longer, later push.
Yeah, these Banshees would be fantastic at exerting map control. Especially losing that early queen there for Shin. That's a very expensive early game loss. And oh, look at this, Tasteless. ByuN is already moving out on the map with Stim. I think he realizes that these Banshees can just kind of ward away all of the queens, and he could walk right onto the creep and potentially apply some pressure to this 3rd base.
Yeah, I was completely wrong. I was saying he's like going to not attack at all. Here he is. No medevac here. It's just Marines, a tank, and 2 Banshees. And I'm not sure that Zerg's got enough. He's stimming. Remember, there's no heal. So, like, any damage, I mean, it is kind of permanent. I think, actually, like, Terran just barely has enough.
I think so. The drones are getting pulled. Shin does not want to lose that 3rd hatchery. Oh man, the drones are just getting mowed down right now by these Marines. The siege tank actually doing a really good job of absorbing the damage.
What?
And ByuN just decapitating the economy of Shin. 12 drones down. The 3rd base is going to fall. What a fantastically timed push.
This is so crazy. Those Marines just won't die. Combat shields is done, by the way. The hatchery goes down.
Medevac's also joining in.
Yeah, and so now he gets that heal up. I've never quite seen a push like that.
Yeah.
I've never quite seen, it was like 9 Marines and a Banshee and a tank. And, you know, a lot of times when you see that many queens, you're like, well, that probably holds that, right? Well, apparently not. And I think we're probably going to see GG. I don't think there's enough roaches. He can basically kite this all day.
I mean, Shin right now, he's supply block because he keeps losing overlords also to these Marines, and Roach is very supply intensive. He just can't produce the units that he needs. Marines stimming 4+1 is done. GG is called. That was well played by ByuN. That was an exciting build. I think nobody was expecting him to push across the map that quickly, but I mean, what keen game sense to identify with those Banshees. Like, you know what? I killed a Queen. He has nothing. SHIN has nothing that can test these Banshees away from the Spore Crawlers because of Cloak. I'm just going to use this map control, walk all the way up to the third base, and just sever all this extra income coming in. And then SHIN, he still had, what, 60-plus drones? The fourth base, down by the 6 o'clock position, it finally got online, and ByuN just very quickly pivots right over, takes that one down too.
This is in line with our theme today. Don't take a fourth base.
Yeah.
He who takes the first fourth base will lose the game. Very cool push there by ByuN. Never quite seen an attack like that, kind of pre-medevac push, basically stimming and just kind of playing the keep away game. Chipped away enough damage that he actually killed the Queens and the hatch. Anyways, guys, game 2's ready. Let's go. Okay, in the bottom left here, we've got SHIN. Top right is ByuN. And yeah, let's see if it's CC first again or not. I guess it's really important we go back. We're talking about that push and how crazy it was. That is a lot of that kind of hinged on the fact that the command center first got away. You would not have had a game where like you're going to get gas and tech and then get a command center on the low ground and then push like that, because you shouldn't have enough.
Yeah, it was a cool build from ByuN.
Yeah, ByuN is looking just very, very strong here. Always, some of the best control in the game.
Especially early game.
Yeah.
He just could get so much value out of these very small armies. It feels like that is really his forte.
I've always felt like one of ByuN's weaknesses actually was like, he's like super strong early game, but then I don't think he has the kind of late game kind of colossal macro approach like Maru does, as an example. Like Maru, it's almost like just this like super machine that can crank out stuff and grow at a rate that's hard for the human mind to comprehend. But ByuN's always been like this guy that comes in and gets a couple good jabs, gets a couple good stabs in there, and starts the opponent bleeding. And a lot of times just manages to take him down.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, I don't think that's a skill thing either. I think it's just that ByuN is playing to his strengths, and so he usually focuses on strategies that are really going to hit their power spike in the early game or the mid game, because that is where ByuN is the most deadly. And so if it doesn't work and the opponent's able to survive, potentially even with the lead, then ByuN kind of limps into the late game, maybe not in the best position. I'd be curious to see ByuN try to play like a really intense Maru-esque macro game, with a little bit less flair in the early game, but at the same time, it is such a treat, even in this day and age of StarCraft 2. I think one of the things that I've always enjoyed the most about this game was, like, everybody, there's 3 races, all the races have the same units, obviously, like every Zerg is the same, they got the same tools in the bag, but stylistically, the difference between player to player to player, especially at the pro level, it just adds so much depth to the game, because everyone identifies, wait, I'm a little bit better when I do this than I do this, and everyone just kind of carves their own path. And for a long time in StarCraft 2's history, it felt to me like Protoss players were probably the most stylistic. Yeah. But over time, as the game evolved, it feels like everybody's like this in a way. By the way, Marine's coming out really early here for ByuN with an SCV. Is this going to be a bunker rush?
Is that Slayer's Boxer?
This is so cool. But the thing is, SHIN sees all of this.
Yeah, the bunker's in a cool spot, too.
The Queens are getting pulled. 14 Lings in production right now. 6 already on the map.
Now, wait, these Queens are just going to kill this, right? The bunker can't finish in time, right?
I think so. If there's really good RNG, no, even with good RNG, there's no way this bunker's going to get up. It's pretty close, but that SCV, the Queen's going to snipe it down.
Completely shut down.
I like the play, though.
Yeah,
cool. Maybe he's able to get a Queen or 2 out of this. We'll see.
Well, the Lings should kill this, right?
Come on, get that Queen, ByuN. Oh, 13 HP. Oh, and there's Hellions joining. I didn't even see that.
I kind of thought this attack was over.
Yeah, I was just tunnel visioning on the Marine Mine. I was like, man, ByuN, you're really good. Look at those Hellions. Just line him up for him. These slow Lings taking a lot of damage. What a creative approach. Third command center now coming in for ByuN. 4 Hellions, 2 of them very badly wounded. Is he going to dive this? Those Lings, they are very low on HP. 2 or 3 more volleys if they're well lined up. Candace clear these things out. Indeed, they will. More Lings are in production, about to pop. Metabolic boost almost done. So far, only 1 drone falling.
This is a real one-of-a-kind early game TVZ. It feels like, though, Shin's like basically taking care of this, right? You don't care how many Lings you lose as long as you clear the Marines. So I feel like Shin's going to be in a pretty substantial lead now, which means it's going to be a lot harder for ByuN to kind of come out with any kind of real aggression that can dominate here. That was the 3rd command center that was on cameras. Okay, so he's going to go for 3 CCs. So yeah, he's basically going to back out of any kind of aggression in the mid game here and try to instead power up onto 3 bases.
Additional barracks now coming in. Stim only just now starting because he did, of course, prioritize the Marine production over getting a Tech Lab and Stim Pack earlier on.
Double eBay as well. So all signs point to a quiet mid game, but one where he's going to push out later. Now, we don't know what kind of game Shin's going to play here. A lot of this phase of the game, Zerk's just sort of reacting. Overlord Scout's not going to see anything, by the way.
I think it might have glimpsed the Banshee. It's hard to tell. It was very, very close. If it didn't glimpse it, it just barely missed it. But in any case, Shin seems like he's well prepared to deal with any Banshee follow-up to this. Already got a Sport Crawler here at the 3rd base. These Hellions going to poke in. Actually, really nice lineup. Able to get 3 drones, but they're going to get cornered here, aren't they?
Yeah, they can't get anywhere. Full surround. 2 Banshees, you know, they haven't really cleared that much. We've got a lot more drones coming. We have a Roach Warren as well. Double Evo here, too. So, I mean, Shin's going to be able to take a 4th base, and I don't think he's going to be contested. I think he's going to go up to 5 or even 6 bases for the Zerk before the Terran can really come out and do anything. You can see he tries to land that command center, and Shin's being smart. He's not going to let him do that without at least making ByuN assert himself on the map.
Roaches and Roach speed starting now for Shin.
The longer that command center's in the air, not making SCVs, not landing mules, not having resources returned to it, the worse it's going to be.
And those Banshees finally shooing away the Ling so that the Marines and Siege Tank can garrison over here. This will be a nice economic spike for ByuN. 1-1, about halfway complete here for the Terran as it's just starting now for Zerg. Shin is really active with these Lings. I like it. An Infestation Pit coming in very quickly. This is something that Shin has been liking to do. Fast Infestation Pit, fast Hive, usually on the back of Roach Ravager, although in this game, we had kind of a unique early game setup coming in from ByuN, so a little bit more heavy on the Lings here for Shin, but still trending in that general direction. Actually, a Hydralisk Den too. Now, Shin, over at DreamHack Dallas, had some of the best fungals I have seen versus Terran in a very long time. His spellcaster control has really been exciting. I'm hoping we get to see a glimpse of that here with this Hydralisk Den coming in and Roaches and Ravagers already on the field. We'll have to see if he decides to produce them. Right now, a little bit low on the gas is Shin, so can't quite afford it. 1-1 just now finishing here for ByuN as he's posturing, man. But
he's gonna. Oh, is he gonna counterattack? I thought he was gonna try to snipe the tank from behind. He's gonna go around.
Yeah.
So this is just shift clicked over here.
I was also thinking this might just be a surround, but
I feel like he shouldn't have actually even ran out at that. I'm like, I think those Lings can win that fight. So, Zerk's continuing to grow on the map. The Banshees haven't really done that much. This is definitely looking like a stronger game here from Shin.
Yeah, Shin's playing really well so far. ByuN's been throwing him some curveballs, but Shin's early game defense has been really solid. With the one exception of that awkwardly timed push that ByuN did with no medevacs and just the early Marines and Siege Tank that caught Shin off guard. Besides that, Shin has just been on point. And it is going to be Infestors. 2 Infestors get queued up. Hydralisk production also starting. This is going to be a really powerful range composition coming in from Shin. Roaches and Ravagers and Hydralisks soon to have 1-1 upgrades. Actually, 1-1 upgrades already done here for Shin.
Okay, he's going to push in again. Corrosive Biles are going to force a relocation. He wants those Corrosive Biles to hit the tanks and siege mode if he can, so it's extremely important that the Marines create distance between the Ravagers and the tanks. Shin's going to come in again. Not a bad dodge, actually.
I love those Biles, though, just zoning away the Marines a little bit, providing a little bit more time for these Infestors to gather energy off screen. More Biles. These Stim Marines, they're taking a lot of damage right now, even just with the step back. Oh, the bungle is huge! Shin does it again! The Marines get cleaned up! Luckily, a lot of them able to escape in the medevacs, but Shin just continues to land magic fungals here in GSL. That is so sick, man. He has not lost a touch to this DreamHack at all.
You know, it's funny, that fight, it was like, it could go either way, it could go either way, and then suddenly SHIN just completely wiped it. That fungal was, I think it could not have been optimized more.
He's been doing this for weeks, man. Yeah, it has been so solid.
The surface area was like literally perfect. Like it got every single Marine inside that clump. And now we got a counter push here. We got another, oh, never mind. Yeah, the Infestor is shot down. Unfortunately, you do not want to lead with that. He's gonna keep trying to push. Does he actually have enough here?
Man, that's a lot of Roaches, Ravagers, and Hydras. These Marines going to retreat. It's even upgrades, too, so the Marines actually not getting a lot of damage done on these Roaches. The front line, oh, it is sparse here for ByuN.
Yeah, Factory on the outside here with 2 Widow Mines making. 2-2 is about to finish, but a decent number of these Marines are going to be killed off here. Looks like he's got enough. He can dive in. Hydras are terrible when they're running away off of creep.
I can notice as soon as that Roach count at the front line dissipates here.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have enough for a fungal? I think barely shy. Yeah, 69 energy right now on the Infestor.
Nice. So we are on a 5-base game right now from Zerg. Zerg is teching into Lurkers as well. And there's going to be some pretty strong pushes. I don't know that there is room for another push here from ByuN, but he might just go for it anyways.
Yeah, got to be very careful here, though, is ByuN. I don't know how many Infestors we have on the field right now, but SHIN has just been so on point with his fungals. I mean, when you're playing this kind of style that ByuN is, if SHIN gets a good fungal off, and you are not able to quickly escape into the medevacs, as soon as that fungal dissipates, those units are dead to rights, and you are not going to be trading cost efficiently. And with such a powerful composition that SHIN is running, momentum is a really big thing here in this matchup. And ByuN actually coming into the natural expansion right now, he could get a Hydros dead. Maybe with these upgrades, 2-2 is not yet done. Oh my god,
yeah, it's like this really crucial tech
wow.
is just right here. This actually may cost SHIN the game.
This is huge. SHIN out of position. He's trying to defend the 4th base. He just vacated the 4th base with most of his army to try and defend the natural. You can see on the mini-map, they're just now getting to the junction between the natural and the 3rd base. That means that there isn't enough defenders here. At the 3rd for SHIN, he's going to retreat. This hatchery might even be going down. Wow, in one fell swoop, ByuN taking down the 2-2 upgrades, hitting before the Lurkers get their upgrades, taking down this hatchery all the way to 5 o'clock.
He's just going to kill every single thing that matters for SHIN right now.
He's
literally just gotten 3 hatcheries. I'm sorry, 2 hatcheries, all the tech, and he could very well take this one out.
I mean,
I think we're about to just see him win the game.
SHIN just got so outpositioned in one fell swoop. ByuN just completely destroyed so much key infrastructure here for his Zerg opponent. And that just turned the game on its head. Look at the minimap. I mean, SHIN can't even afford to rebuild the natural expansion of the 4th base. He needs to pump units right now to survive this push. And keep in mind, there's only, what, 4 Vespene Geysers SHIN can even gather from right now because he lost those extra bases too. So the units that he can make right now, it's mostly just Roaches. He's adding in Lings and Infestors. That's how he's deciding to separate the minerals and the gas. Not an ideal situation. That fungal pretty good. Going to catch a couple of these Marauders here on the front line, but ByuN just with so much momentum now in game number 2. Scans, see these Lurkers. Great spread there from ByuN, mitigating the splash damage, able to quickly take those things out. And SHIN is really starting to run out of steam, Tasteless. Plus 3 infantry weapons almost done.
Nice fungal, but you need at least enough units to actually then overpower those weakened infantry. GG, ByuN takes it. Dude, ByuN is looking hot today.
Wow.
That was crazy. He was like in a pretty bad position, and then in the course of like, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute, killed off all the tech, killed a hatchery, and then killed another hatchery on the other side of the map. That was wild.
That was some fantastic positional play.
You know, you don't see successful split pushing from Terran that often.
I mean, that's one of the downsides of the composition SHIN was running. It just isn't that mobile. If you get blindsided like that by a double drop of a natural expansion, oh boy, it can be, things can spiral downhill very quickly, just as we saw.
So we're going to have a TVT now, guys, to decide who's going to be getting that second to last spot in the round of 8. It's going to be ByuN versus Bunny. And I think we're going to go to that short break right now, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a little bit.